So this morning I've popped down here to Loch Slappin. I think it's called Loch Slappin. Apologies if I've got that pronunciation wrong. But the reason I'm down here this morning is because I wanted to come and take a photo of this mountain behind me. This is Ben Ban, and it's a very dramatic looking mountain. I really do like it. And what I want this morning is just a fairly simple shot of the mountain with the loch in the foreground. And this morning when I woke up, it looks as though the sky's pretty clear this morning, which means I'm not sure there's enough clouds really to catch the light as the sun rises. But I'm hoping that as the sun does get a little bit higher, hopefully the mountain itself will catch a little bit of light. So the sun's going to actually be rising in the opposite direction, so I'm hoping that as it clears the hills which are currently behind the camera, I'm hoping as it clears those hills, the sun will come out and it'll just illuminate the peak of the mountain. So that's what I'm hoping for. It's still quite early now, there's still a little bit of time before sunrise, so I'm just going to have a coffee and just enjoy the view for a few minutes whilst I'm waiting for the light to come. I think I've got it set up now for the first shot. Normally what I would do when taking photos is I tend to have the camera a little bit lower, it's just where I normally prefer to have it, but on this occasion I've got it up at sort of, I guess, eye level, which is a bit unusual for me because I normally have it lower. But the reason for that is because I guess first the obvious thing for many people when they come here would be to try and find some foreground interest along the coast here and try and have some kind of stone in the foreground. I did look briefly at that option, but actually I think what I'd prefer to do this morning is go for a simpler composition, just cut out all of that foreground interest and just focus on the mountain itself. At the moment we've got these nice reflections. There is a little bit of a ripple in the water, so I might stick a 6-stop filter on there just to smooth that out. I've got a polarize on it at the moment, but at the moment I think this is just working nicely. It's just a very simple composition. I love the shape of this mountain. These are the kind of mountains that I like, which have got these nice sort of pointy, jagged edges. And I'm hoping, although the sun's not up yet, it's still quite dark, I'm hoping that sun's going to come up soon, and maybe once we get a little bit of light on the mountain, it'll really bring the scene to life a little bit. There are some very high up clouds there, which seem to be moving out of shot at the moment, so I'm not convinced they're still going to be in shot by the time the sun does come up. But you never know, with any luck we might get some nice pink clouds as well this morning. So I've decided to switch the camera over to portrait orientation now, and that's because what I want to do is a nice stitched panoramic. I've still got the 6-stop filter on there just to blur that water out, but I'm doing a shot, it's only about 3 shots or so in this panoramic. I might do a little bit wider, but now the sun is starting to come up and it's just catching the mountain now too, so it's just starting to light up. We've also got some clouds over to the right-hand side of the image, which is starting to turn pink. Unfortunately, those high-up clouds, which I saw earlier on, which I was hoping would just linger over the mountain and catch the light as well, those now seem to have disappeared, unfortunately. But even so, I think now that the sun's just starting to come up, and you can just see there's this light, slightly pink light that's starting to move down the mountain, so I think that's working really well. we're getting some really nice light on this mountain now. I've decided to zoom just straight in, get it all in one landscape shot. I think I'm at 50 mils still, which I think is working okay. The other thing, you would have noticed this morning that I'm using the Lumix S1R rather than the 5D. Hannah and I have been kind of switching around between using our old 5D and the Lumix, and I've got to say I'm really starting to get to grips with this camera now. I was a little bit worried because I feel so at home with the 5D, I know where everything is, so I was kind of a little bit worried that it would take a little while to get used to using this, but now I'm getting to grips with it. I'm really starting to appreciate the value of it. The high megapixel count works really well for these kind of shots, but also I'm really appreciating some of the added benefits that you get from using a full frame mirrorless. I'm enjoying the EVF, that's brilliant, and the focus peaking as well. You can have the focus peaking inside the viewfinder, and as I normally frame up my shots using a viewfinder, I'm finding that really useful on this camera. So yeah, really enjoying using it. So I've taken quite a few shots now, both of the panoramics and just the wide shots as well. But I think what I'm going to do, because the sky is quite clear now, we've lost, well, there aren't really any clouds in the sky, so there's not an awful lot of interest there. What I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to stick the 200mm lens on and just see if I can pick out a few telephoto shots whilst the light is hitting the mountain face on, because I think that might work quite well. I'm really enjoying myself this morning. It's such a beautiful spot. I've been having a little bit of a play around with the telephoto lens. So Lumix actually lent us both a 24 to 105mm lens and the 70 to 200mm lens. And I'm really pleased that they were kind enough to do that because I've been really enjoying using both lenses. The sky's really cleared up a little bit now. There's not much interest going on there. So I'm finding that using the 70 to 200 and zooming in right in to 200mm and just picking out the odd shot of sort of close-up of the rocks as they're catching the light is working quite well. There's a couple of images in there which I've been thinking will work better as a black and white, so we'll wait until we get them onto a computer, but I'm fairly certain that they'll be black and white images. But now I think the light's just a little bit too harsh, so I think it's probably time to put the camera away. I've got a little bit of coffee left in my flask, so I'm going to put all the camera gear away and just sit and enjoy this place for a few minutes. So I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, please do give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Today is actually our last day in Skye. This evening we have, I'm actually meeting up with a relative, so I'm not sure if I'm going to have a chance to do much photography, unfortunately, this evening. But today we're going to have a little bit of a drive around the island and explore. But tomorrow morning, early, we're heading over to Harris, and I really can't wait to get over there. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you next time.